Hello, I'm Zihan. Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Games. Today, I'm going to talk about ground warfare. As the term implies, ground warfare refers to a battle arena or space located on land, where personnel, vehicles, weapon platforms, and support elements seamlessly blend on different terrains and weather to achieve their missions. This can be seen in countless games, like World of Tanks, Apex Legends, Counter-Strike, and classic Medal of Honor. But come to think of it, doesn't this term cover other seemingly non-military games? Think Valorant, where agents duke it out on ground locales using sniper rifles, machine guns, and the likes, in addition to their superhuman abilities. Or Warframe, where space ninjas do futuristic battles on long-abandoned Earth overgrown with mutated jungles, like in their expansion Plains of Edolan. The agents and space ninjas are not exactly military. Instead, the term paramilitary would suit them better. As explained in the previous video, they are entities engaging in military-like activities, but not a formal part of the military itself. And if the battle is on ground, wherever the planet is, then it is safe to say ground warfare will come into play. Though traditionally the army would largely be the main force to engage in ground warfare, modern times have seen the advance of joint forces, where the Marines, the Navy, and Air Force would work in concert with the army in ground warfare. That's why long-range multiple rocket launchers were invented to shoot down hostile aircraft. Which brings us to the next set of questions. What motivates ground warfare? What are the needs fueling its employment in the first place? History has long seen ground warfare as an act of defending an area or territory. Ancient tribes, city-states, and villages engage in ground warfare either to defend itself from outer threats or to be the ones doing the attacking. Early combatants on foot fought hand-to-hand combat, using anything with high potential to inflict harm as weapons and ultimately subdue their adversaries. Gradually, their accessories like vehicles and weapons would evolve into something more advanced and efficient too. The same could be said of ground warfare's tactics and strategies. A good example would be the use of spies. During the Eastern Zhou period of ancient China, Sun Tzu, in his seminal book The Art of War, criticizes ordinary warfare as ineffective and inhumane, as more often than not, the lives and families of many are at stake. He then stresses the importance of foreknowledge and proposed in great details the use of spies to secure victory. This is undoubtedly one of the earliest accounts of intelligence warfare. Similar great works include the ancient Indian Chanakya's textbook of statecraft and political economy that provides a detailed account of intelligence collection, processing, consumption, and covert operations as indispensable means for maintaining and expanding the security and power of the state. Or the Bible, in which we have in this story the spies sent by Hebrews to Jericho before attacking the city. This is indeed one of the earliest detailed reports of a very sophisticated intelligence operation. Fast forward to modern times, during the Cold War, NATO's espionage activities is arguably the most important factor that keeps the Cold War cold. Oleg Gordievsky, a senior KGB officer who worked as a double agent for MI6, provided a stream of high-grade intelligence that had an important influence on the thinking of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. In particular, with his deep psychological insights into the inner circles of the Kremlin, he convinced Washington and London that the fierceness and bellicosity of the Kremlin was a product of fear and military weakness rather than an urge for world conquest. Convinced by Gordievsky, Thatcher and Reagan concluded that they could moderate their own anti-Soviet rhetoric, as successfully happened when Mikhail Gorbachev took power. The Berlin Wall eventually fell, and the Cold War ended. And now, we look at where and how ground warfare is done. The first type of ground warfare is urban warfare. Its locations include towns or cities, or a pivotal target like an enemy's weapon depot. The urban terrain is quite complex, with its maze of tall buildings, sewage tunnels, narrow alleys, and the occasional subway system. Naturally, the upper hand is with the defending force. To add up to the challenge, there might be civilians around, and to distinguish them from plainclothes operatives is no walk in the park. Sniper warfare can happen in urban battlefields like the Battle of Grozny in Chechnya. In the effort to take the city, Russian forces fought against Chechen snipers and RPG grenadiers hiding throughout the ruins. Both sides also employ ambush, at times with handheld anti-tank weapons and planted booby traps. And snipers in Call of Duty Modern Warfare are placed in buildings and the surrounding high-rise structures across maps. Next, we have jungle warfare, where combatants try to survive and fight in jungle terrain. Your life does not only depend on your ability to evade landmines or ambush, but also the grace of mosquitoes, jungle parasites, and wild animals, as they may prove to be detrimental to your health. Apart from doubling your fighting power, there's no paved road for your logistical supply and support too. The jungle itself can act as a double-edged sword. Its dense greenery can provide good camouflage, but it may also limit lines of sight and arcs of fire. These factors favor small units and light weaponry. Think guerrilla warfare, the king of jungle warfare. Small groups of combatants such as paramilitary personnel or armed civilians fight bigger and less mobile traditional armies, and oftentimes the larger armies will be forced to bow down to the supremacy of guerrilla warfare, which includes sabotage, ambushes, raids, hit-and-run tactics, and its superior mobility. Such a case can be seen in the Vietnam War. The American forces experienced a crushing defeat at the hands of the Viet Cong guerrilla, who had perfected the art of guerrilla warfare in addition to the upper hand of fighting at home grounds. There's not much guerrilla warfare in predator hunting grounds, but you can have a taste of fun jungle warfare here. Now, we'll move on to the third kind of ground warfare, the desert warfare. The desert terrain is treacherous. It is also not known for its hospitality. Nightly extreme low temperatures paired with equally extreme hot and low humidity daytime will be your hostess there. However, its glaring lack of structures and obstacles is the perfect playground to test one's technological capabilities, such as the ability to use unmanned aircraft for surveillance and attack. Any desert altercation will involve aerial detection by said unnamed aircraft and its countermeasure in the form of camouflage and cover. Mobility is also important. The desert sand is a big factor, as sand dunes can reduce your mobility to a staggering 40%. You can lose your footing easily and slip to be buried below. Apart from the aircraft, tanks are another important player in desert war. It is an excellent refugee from aircraft attacks, aside from its own formidable offensive power. Desert guerrillas will have a slim chance to see another day if they ever have the misfortune to cross paths with these two desert warfare giants. Curious how desert warfare will unfold? Sneak COD Black Ops 2 North African campaign applying. Just a taste of what it might feel like. Well, there are also Arctic ground warfare and mountain ground warfare, but we'll stop here for today. Fascinating, isn't it? What war can be like on the ground. Be it pre-modern, at the turn of the century, or even sci-fi, ground warfare remains the major actor of warplay. No matter the terrain, ground warfare is ever so fluid in its tactics and of course in gameplay. It is a genre in the gaming world that will surely stand the test of time. With that, stay safe and see you in the next episode.